Hi, I'm here to talk about Dwayne Johnson, better known as The Rock. I don't know how he does that eyebrow thing so well. Who is a famous wrestler and a famous actor, but his big dream was to be a football player, but that didn't work out due to an injury, so he decided to go into wrestling because of his father, who was a famous wrestler named Rocky Johnson. Probably where he got the title The Rock for his name. Or I could be wrong. Anyway, he was trained by his father, and when his father, before he trained him, his father said, something like, "Don't expect special treatment just because you're my son." See? And he became quite a success in the ring, but not at first. He started out as a good guy, but because he was booed by fans out in the ring, outside the ring, by people and all that, and they all hated his goody guy image, he got to change it to this sort of anti-hero guy who doesn't give a crap what you think. And then he became quite a success. And like some of these wrestlers, it wasn't long before Hollywood came calling. They did. And he made an appearance in such shows like That 70s Show and Star Trek Voyager. He finally made his big film debut in the Mummy Part Tomb of the Dragon. No, it was I forgot the title. It was the second Mummy film in which he played the Scorpion King. He didn't have a big role, but due to his popularity, they decided to write a spin-off movie called The Scorpion King, kind of this version of Conan. Now, and other films followed, like Rundown and all that stuff, and other stuff. But what I'm here to talk about is a lot of people on YouTube say The Rock is playing himself. Well, for the most part, he is. But in not all his films, he plays himself. So I got to disagree with that part. There are some films he does play against type. Okay, let's go to the films he does play himself. He plays himself in the most recent last month's Red One. Entertaining film. But he does kind of play himself. In films like Scorpion King, he definitely plays himself. And The Rundown, entertaining, but he does play himself. Red Factor, Baywatch, and all that stuff. In all those films, he basically does play himself. He's not doing much acting in those films. But there are several other films he was in where he, like I said, plays against type. I'll name a few. Doom. He does not play the action hero in that film. He plays a commander who starts out as a good guy, army commander, but gets corrupted by all the violence and the supernatural forces. Doom came out in 2005 and was not regarded as a hit, but probably going to be thought of today as a cult classic. Pain and Gain. He plays a Christian guy who gets brought into this world of crime and crime and drugs, and he gets so wrapped up in it and all that stuff. So he was definitely not playing himself in that movie. Oh, and let's not forget the movie. Let's not forget the movies Faster, Snitch, and The Gridiron Gang, because in The Gridiron Gang, he plays a guy head of a juvenile detention, who wants to help these guys and improve their lives. So he has them set up as a football team, and I thought he gave a good performance. In Snitch, he plays a man trying to help a son who he was estranged with get out of prison by risking his life by exposing the mob. And he gets way in over his head, great performance. He does not play a tough guy in that movie. In that film, he gets beat up. So you would expect, you think The Rock would just let himself get beat up? No, because he's not playing The Rock. He's playing an average guy who gets thrown into a world that he was just unprepared for, but he will risk it all for his son. In Faster, he plays a criminal who gets released from prison, out to get revenge on the people that double-crossed him and murdered his brother. And just when you think he's going to go in the direction of being a one-noted revenge flick, towards the end, he starts to show he's not a one-noted type of person. And I thought The Rock delivered that beautifully. In the Game Plan, that was one of his attempts at comedy, where he plays a football player, kind of similar to what he almost became in real life, a famous football player, who discovers he has a daughter for the first time, and so he has to change his lifestyle and try to become a better father and a better person. So he learns from his errors in that one. Black Adam, I thought he was good in that movie. He plays like I say, he plays the title character, comic book character, Black Adam, and he's not. I mean, there's some moments he's kind of a badass, but you kind of see the guilt on his face because he realizes he doesn't think of himself as a hero because of his. He feels his recklessness caused his family to die, get killed, and all that stuff. So he goes on a courageous revenge path, but in the end, he redeems himself. So I don't think The Rock plays himself in that movie. Is The Rock a good actor? I think he's a talented actor. But I think when it comes down to it, he does try to deliver a good performance. Now, is he on the same level as actors like Robert De Niro and Denzel Washington? Heck no. I don't know if I could see an Oscar in his future. No. And all that. But I think he is a decent actor when he puts himself there. When he puts himself to it, he's a decent actor. Now, we all remember films like Red Factor and Jungle Cruise, in which, in my opinion, he does play himself. Oh, let's not forget Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, where he plays a teenager trapped in a video game in this muscular body and doesn't know how to handle it. I think The Rock definitely portrayed an awkward teenager in a video game character's body very well. I mean, he does play it very well. Does the awkwardness of how a teenager would react if he was in that situation. Because, The Rock was a teenager at one point, so acting like a teenager was no big thing for him. Although I liked Jumanji The Next Level, don't get me wrong, but I did not like The Rock's performance as Danny DeVito trapped in his body, because I wasn't very convinced that it was Danny DeVito trapped in his body. Now, in the Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, I was more convinced that he was an awkward teenager trapped in the body of a video game character. I bought that more, but I didn't buy it with Danny DeVito, because when he was trying to be Danny DeVito trapped in this body, he just didn't really convince me. It sounded like a parody impression. But I will give plots to Kevin Hart. I think he did a better job playing Danny Glover trapped in his body, because you could tell Kevin Hart did more study on Danny DeVito. He had Danny Glover, sorry. He had Danny Glover down pat. And his other films like Hobbs and Shaw, and when he was on the Fast and the Furious series, he was kind of playing himself and all that stuff. But The Rock is an entertaining presence on camera. No matter what role he plays, you kind of enjoy watching him. So that's my take on it. And if y'all disagree with me, you're entitled to do so. All right? Catch you later. Bye-bye.